Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I have given the application, right? So everyone has gone through that. Maybe you are able to run or how it is like. Any issues or anything to ask from your side? Okay, I will take it as no. Let me share my screen. So anything to discuss from anyone before us starting? Everyone able to run their application in Angular in their machines? Everyone can hear me, right? Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Saksham.
Actually, I am little behind on the project and I am having trouble in uh, icons, mat icons.
Matt
Like
icons. Okay,
they
sure.
are
Mm-hmm.
uh, material. I cannot type anything from the material module. They are showing in red.
Okay, can you just
Like,
show it to me?
okay.
As this is Saturday, right? So probably we can, have some doubt session or probably we can resolve those things in this. Share your screen. First, let me give you the permission for this. Yeah, can you just share your screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the same application which I have given or how it is like?
No, I have created it myself.
Okay, so um, 1 second. Okay, can you just go to the material module? Okay, and mm, go to the app module also.
App module, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So have you included the material module here?
No.
See, I will tell you. So right now you have a header component, you have a footer component, and you have a app component, correct?
Correct.
So wherever you have defined the components, you need to define your material. No, 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 no. That is not the approach. So wherever you have the components, you will declare that in the components, right?
Okay.
Wherever you need to import some modules or we need to define that module over here in the imports section itself, not in the declarations. So in the declarations, we basically use components. In the imports, we actually import modules. Okay?
Correct.
Yeah, do that. Since material module was there, but it was not being used anywhere, type material module. It is already there. Okay, now save it and
Oh,
go to the header component.html and you will be able to see that.
yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other things from anyone? No? Please ask me if you have any questions. No, I was asking this a lot of times for the previous batches also, but no one was asking me any questions. Okay, but during the end of the training, they have a lot of questions, but it doesn't make any sense once the course is complete, right? So probably if you have any questions, probably you can ask me or probably we can continue. Please raise your hand and you can ask me the questions. That will be fine. Yeah, okay, so let me share my screen as well. So let me give you a walkthrough on the list of services that we are going to develop. Okay. So sorry, my mind is gone. One second. Um, Already we have gone through the basics of Spring Cloud, right? Anyone did we cover that? Spring Cloud API Gateway, Eureka Server, Faint Client. Have we discussed those? I'm not sure. Did we discuss all those things in our basic sessions on Spring Cloud? Faint Client, API Gateway, Eureka Server. Did we cover that? Guys, can you please ping in the chat because I'm asking some questions, right? I cannot ask multiple times. You need to respond. I think we discussed about Spring Cloud, I guess, already, while discussing about Spring Boot, correct? I want answer from everyone. Can you please? Guys, everyone is there or they're sleeping, please? Yes, we have already discussed it. Okay. So API Gateway, Eureka Server, and then I want this answer from everyone, please. Okay, good. So this is what I want. Okay. So probably what we can simply do. So these are the list of services that we are going to develop. So for now, forget about AWS Lambda and only this service. Okay. So we do have a API gateway. We do have a notification service. We do have a order service, payment service, registry service, which is Eureka server, and this is a restaurant service, and this is a user service. Okay. So we do have all these services in place. And now what is going to happen? Let's say we need to implement all the services, and for each and every service, that means for each and every Spring Boot application, we do have different ports, correct? But we need to provide a single entry. It doesn't mean that we need to include different ports in our Angular application, right? So let me open Angular application so that we get some picture. Yeah. So if you just go through this login, right? So here we do have something called the auth service. And here we do have one login method where we are actually calling one port 8765, which is a port of API gateway. Okay. And the same thing we are actually using. Right here we do have something called a return menu component. And here we have something called a REST observable. See here, this uses login, and this is related to the restaurant ID. Each and everything, right? So each and everything is being given as a single port. So no matter how many services we do maintain across all the whole application, right? So we need to give a single entry point for all the microservices. Okay. That means, let's say if you do have 10 different services, right? 10 different services will have 10 different port numbers, correct? But that is not a best practice to, um, give 10 different port numbers while calling that applications from the Angular. So we need to give a single entry point through the API gateway because it's a best practice and that approach has to be followed for most of the services. Okay. So why I'm saying this because we do have a lot of services in real time and in production we do have third-party services also. Not only our services, we will be using some third-party services like Kafka, right? We'll be using some messaging tools. Apart from Kafka, there are third-party messaging tools also. We'll be using SQS from AWS, right? So probably there are so many things, right? So these are third-party integrations with Spring. So if you are going to use like that, right, probably each and every service will have different port, and we cannot, let's say if any service port number is getting changed, right? We don't have to change our code inside the front end. If you are going to give a single port entry for all the microservices, it's the best approach to give through the API gateway itself. I cannot give through any of the service. Okay, that's a very bad practice. Okay. So these are some of the concerns, but right now, what my suggestion to everyone is, we need to develop all the services, but all the services has only one or two endpoints. But since we need to develop microservices architecture instead of the monolithic application, which has the whole set of services and a single database with a lot of tables and lot of relationships. Okay, so when our application is going huge or our application is going to become larger, in that particular case, probably we cannot have a single database, because let's imagine there are 1 million users across the whole globe and our application is being accessed from so many users. So in that case, if it is a single database, what happens? There's a lot of load on the single database. We need to increase our CPU. We need to pay some extra amount to the cloud partners and all these things we need to do, correct? So we cannot rely on that approach, right? So probably there has to be a simple mechanism to actually segregate a monolithic application to different small services, so that each and every service will have their own individual database. Let's say this user service has its own database users. This restaurant service has its own database restaurants. Payment service has its own database payments. Orders. Notifications for notification service. That's it. So each and every database has been segregated into different databases. And then probably each and every database has one or two different tables, or three different tables, or four different tables. That is fine. But when people are going to access API gateway, let's say users are going to log in, which service will be called user service? And user service will have users table where the records of the different users across the globe will be there, and they will be authenticated. So here notifications database will not be touched. Order service database itself will not be touched. Payments database will not be touched. And finally, restaurants database is never touched. So all those databases are getting freed up by these calls, right? So that's the main advantage of using database per microservice pattern. Okay. So if you have a chance, right? So there is a very good article on this. Okay. So Chris Richardson, he was the author for this microservices. He has included so many patterns. For now, what we are actually going to do, so this is one of the pattern that we are going to follow. Okay, there are so many patterns. And here there is something called, can you say that? Database per service pattern. Each service has its own database. So this is what the approach that we are going to follow. And shared database, that means all the microservices are there, but all the microservices has a single database where it has restaurant table, users table, orders table, payments table, right, etc. Okay. So when we are actually using this database per service pattern, right? So probably we will be, having different databases for each and every service. So here it is, how it is actually going to look like. So this is order table, and this is a customer table. So customer table belongs to customers database, and orders table belongs to orders database. So this is what we are going to do. Okay. And you can, if you want to have a look into this microservices pattern, you can have a look, but probably we are somewhat using, the pattern called a Saga pattern. Okay. Not completely, it's database per service pattern. So probably we'll be able to implement Saga pattern also. So I will just tell you what is Saga pattern. So Saga pattern. So you can have look into this. Just type Saga pattern. The first link which will come to you is microservices.io. Just have a look. It has a very good documentation. You will understand each and everything by these diagrams. Not much explanation. Only the first diagram, the second diagram, and the third diagram. But anyhow, we will just go through that practically when we are starting about microservices. Okay, so that's the only thing. So right now, we have developed our UI, right? So probably what we can simply do, can actually use start or spring.io, and probably we can set up all our microservices. So right now we have completed the login page. We have completed the list of restaurants, but there are no API calls going in, right? So probably what we can do for this particular approach, so we can actually develop, the different set of services, right? So com.hunger.savior.portal. And here, I just wanted to give my service name. I just wanted to give this as a, services registry. Okay. And 17 only you need to use. Okay. Make sure you have a 17 version also. And I can just simply remove this one. This is not at all required in the package name. And here I just wanted to add only one dependency, which is Eureka Server. So Spring Cloud Discovery, Eureka Server. So let me go to this. And since we have not created the backend application, right? So probably I will just call it as Hunger Savior. Okay. So here I can just try to generate. You can actually extract it. And here, I can simply cut this, paste it over here. Okay. So service registry is there. So I will just open this with my IntelliJ Trust project. This window, I don't want to use the existing ones, which is an old application developed for real-time batch run. So here, what we need to do, the only thing that we need to do from our side is let it take some time. It is actually downloading the dependencies over here. So even in the first time when we are going to generate Spring Boot application, right, in the Spring Initializer to start or Spring Boot IO will take some time. Okay. The rate, enable, Eureka server. This is what you need to do. And nothing else we need to do. Okay. That's it, right? But we'll see. Okay. We are going to set up all the services first. And then we do have something called, we can delete this and we can just rename our service to this one. The service name is API-gateway. Remove this. And this is the API gateway. You can just keep it for now. And here we need to, all the microservices are Eureka Discovery clients. Okay, so Eureka. So we need to add this Eureka Discovery client since already there is a server. So we can actually use this Eureka Discovery client. And we need to add API gateway. So just type gateway. So there is something called gateway Spring Cloud routing. Okay. Only this two, and we are good to go. So generate it. And you can just go to this specific one. Use the 7-zip and extract here. And cut this. And just go to this application. Paste it over here. API gateway. And then the required service is user service. I can actually remove this. And so here in the user service, I just wanted to add web dependency. I just wanted to add OAuth to resource server. And so apart from this, what I need to add, I can just add Lombok. And then I think these are enough for now. Okay, we'll see if there are anything else required, but these are the maximum things. So here I can actually name this to, or we can actually say it as authentication service. Okay, that's it. And we can actually do a generate. Zip. Abstract here. Copy it and paste it over here. The next thing, we need to add our restaurant service also. So instead of this. And here Spring Web is required, auth to authorization server is not required. And then Spring Web, and we need to add JPA. Oh, we need to we forgot about JPA, right? So in the user service, it has to be there. So we need to add a MySQL, Spring Web, Spring Data JPA, MySQL driver, Lombok are enough, right? So probably what we can do simply, we can just do a generate. So here, I just wanted to add one more thing, which is something called Flyway. It is new for everyone, but there is a need for Flyway database migration. This is very important. And everyone knows that in probably when we are using JPA or Hibernate, everyone knows that we are actually using DDL Auto in the Spring JPA, right? So we are using DDL Auto as create, update, or something like that. But that is not a best practice because we cannot use the DDL Auto in production environments. So there is something called Flyway database migration, which we are going to use it in our restaurant service, user service, payment service, as well as the order service also. But let's select this Flyway database migration. We'll have a session on that one as well. Okay, so don't worry about it. We'll just go through each and every service. Okay, but for now, these are the only set of services that I need. Okay, and I'll just extract it. I'll just cut this and paste it over here in the user service. Okay, so now the only thing that I can do over here is open this in the IntelliJ. Load. So all the projects have been loaded. So you can actually, if you're using IntelliJ, can actually select this project and show more options and open folder as IntelliJ idea community edition project. It will come like this for you. Okay, for everyone. So probably it will import the list of dependencies. Okay. So the first of all, we are going to create scripts for each and every table for user service as well as for the restaurant service. Okay. So this is what we are going to do. But probably my suggestion is, okay, so if you have a time, a little bit of time, okay, so you can actually type Flyway database migration. Okay, you can actually go through that. This is the Flyway homepage. And the other one, I just wanted you to go through, but you just go through, I will tell you the solutions. We'll have sessions for each and every one. So here we do have something called OpenAPI. Anyone knows about OpenAPI specification? Anyone from this group? Anyone knows about API specification? Open API specification. Have you heard about it? First of all, okay. So Open API specification is basically a Swagger. So it's a Swagger documentation. Okay. So for each and every project, we need to maintain Swagger. So first of all, let me tell you what is a Swagger first. Okay. So let's say um, um, as a developer and the team of a project, we actually define it works like Postman. Yes, exactly like Sakshan. But what is the use, right? So probably let's say Sakshan has posted message that it works like Postman. Yes, it works like Postman. We don't have to use third-party tools. Okay, let me tell you one simple thing. So as a developer, you have developed some controllers, you have developed some services, right? Three to four Spring Boot applications you have developed, and each and every Spring Boot application has controllers with endpoints, right? So let's say I just wanted to commit my code in the Git, and thereon, there are some build mechanisms where that code has to be tested by the testing team. Now, what will happen is, let's say testing team is going to test your endpoints, right? So how do they know how they can call your endpoint? What is the request body? What are the required parameters that they need to pass from their side, right? So they don't have all this kind of stuff, correct? So let me explain you one simple reason for this. Okay. So I'll just open one of my application. Okay. So we already have this movie ticket booking system, right? So let me open this first. So here we do have a movie ticket booking system. So this is the previous application that we are supposed to use, right? Okay, this is a booking service. And here are our APIs. Yeah, this is the one, right? So here we do have something called a create booking, and only create booking is there, correct? So now what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to run this application as an individual service. I will just disable this for now because it will not start until unless I start the Eureka server, right? So probably I will just uncomment out over here and I will just uncomment this also. Okay. So now what we can simply do, we can actually run this application and also we'll check whether booking is already there, multiple host. So I'll just replace this with, okay. Yeah. So now I'll just run this application and also here run this. Failing. Okay. Probably what I will do, I'll just close all tabs. I'll just open this payment service for now. I'll just go and open this. Happening. Okay, the application has been started. Okay. So, okay, this is related to create payments, no problem. Yeah. So now we have started our application and we can see that it is basically in localhost. What is the port that it has been started? 909. Okay. So anyhow, the application is working fine, but right now I just wanted to add this dependency. Let's see what happens. Okay. I just wanted to add this dependency. Since we do have payment API, only one single API. So I will just go to the pom.xml and just add this dependency. And once we add this dependency, refresh it. Okay. And then you start this application again and see what is the, what is the documentation Open API specification is going to give it to us. Okay. So anyhow, the application has been started on 9091, right? Here they are saying for the integration between Spring Boot and Swagger UI, add the library as a list of project dependencies, and this will automatically deploy Swagger UI to a Spring Boot application. So let me copy this and open the new tab. And here we don't have a context path. Remove that. And here we do have a port called 9091, correct? 9091 only, right? And then service is localhost. There you go. This is a Swagger UI for the list of APIs that you are going to have. So let me tell you one single advantage on this. So let's say you have actually, interacting with the QA team or the testing team. Hey, team, the controllers are implemented from my side. You need to test it. Hey, that is fine. So how do we actually test it? You simply give them this URL. This is a URL. you just go to this URL and you'll have list of APIs. Right now, I do have only one single API, right? So you can go to this and you can actually try it out. And you can pass all this kind of things from this, and you'll be able to create a record in the database. So we don't have to manually prepare this request data. We don't have to manually, create this URL to them. Let's say I just wanted to open a notepad, and then here I just wanted to type http://localhost 9091 / right payments, and post request to create payment, and request body. You need to prepare this manually. But right now, Swagger is going to give it to us. We can simply paste this and we can actually give this request data to the testing team so that they will be able to test it with different parameters. Let's say they can pass user ID, they can pass without user ID. What happens? They don't know, right? Everything they are going to test. But this request body has to be prepared manually from our side, and we need to give it to the testing team. Otherwise, how they will be knowing what is the endpoint, what is the as a developer, you know that these are the endpoints that we do have for a payment service, right? So, and we need to give that URL, and also we need to mention the type of the request, and we need to give the request body, and what is the response also we are expected. We need to give the response body also. Everything we need to prepare it manually. But in the responses also, it gives that in the responses, this is the sample response, right? Everything it has. So if you, it can show our structure also. Booking DTO is there. What is this type? It is a string. User ID is also a string. Movie ID is also a movie ID is an integer. Seat selected is it's an array. It's a string array. Show date, it's a date type, right? Show time, it's a local time. Booking amount, it's a double, right? Booking status, it's an enum. So what are the type of values that we need to pass? Pending, cancelled, confirmed, refunded. Everything we need to inform them. What are the types of parameters that we need? So we need to give this data also to them so that they will understand what type of data that they can. See, everything you need to define. Booking status. So here we have passed as pending. What are all the valid attributes that we can send Srinivas? Okay. So we need to give this one also, right? We need to prepare all these things manually and give it to them. So what happens if you're going to give them some documentation about all our APIs? It is really good, right? This is really good, right? We don't have to do anything. We will just give this URL to them. Hey, open that. You have a Swagger UI. You have list of APIs of mine. You can test it. And also, if you don't, if you wanted to know about the types, you can actually go to the booking DTO, and these are the booking statuses that you need to pass, and these are the values. That's it. Very simple. You don't have to do anything from your side, right? So all these things can be provided to the testing team or the QA team so that they will not ask any questions and they will straight away, interact with our services. That's it. Very simple, right? So here, if they are going to send it, so in real time, probably we will not be having localhost. We will be having some addresses like this. So 189.90. For each and every environment, we do have some this kind of IP addresses for each and every environment. Dev environment, QA environment, test environment, and all this kind of things. Okay. I'm not sure about Node.js, Ashok. Okay. So Node.js is another backend. Okay. Since we are using Java as a backend, so I know I do not have any idea on Node.js. Okay. But I do have knowledge on Angular, and the React. So that's what. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So probably do a testing from your side. Okay. So I can actually give this in the chat. Show everyone. You can have a look in this, and you can add the dependency and also this URL to be tested. Add this dependency, and that will do the job. And this is the latest Open API specification 2 was there. Right now, this is Open API specification 3. Okay, this is basically meant for Swagger documentation for all the REST endpoints that you do have in your applications. Okay, so this is going to give a documentation, a brief understanding of all the APIs, what are the types, what are the values that they need to pass. Everything will be listed out in the Swagger documentation. And this is really useful for the testing team or the QA team in order to understand and do the testing for the REST endpoints that we have developed. If there are any bugs and if they find any issues, they will actually create a bug and they will assign it to us, and then we will work on that and we'll redeploy the application, and we will ask them to retest it again. So this is what Swagger is really required. Even it is going to be required in production environment also. If some issue occurs, then probably we can test it directly through the Swagger documentation itself, because we do have all the endpoints, right? So we can actually try it out. We can actually give some data over here, and then we are good to go. Got it? So tomorrow we'll develop some set of, not tomorrow, especially on Monday. So Monday, I will take at least 1.5 hour of time in order to integrate backend and front end. So you need to understand that integration also, so that you are good to go. Okay. So that's all for today. Okay. And most probably we will meet on Monday back. Okay. Fine. So sorry for joining late. Okay. So I have taken some tablets which are actually, gets a very good sleep. I have kept the alarm, but I didn't wake up. So sorry for everything. So I was actually getting some pain in the night, but that's the reason to awake late. Even Shrikant called me. But anyhow, I got back at 9:20. So sorry for that. It will not happen again. Okay. And I will meet you all on Monday itself. Okay. Thank you.